Welcome to Top Advisor Marketing, where you will learn how to become a prolific online influencer, attract more ideal clients, and grow your practice. Brought to you by Top Advisor Podcasting, a done-for-you podcasting solution built just for trusted advisors. And now, your co-hosts of Top Advisor Marketing, Kirk Lowe and Matt Halloran.
Hello and welcome to another Top Advisor Marketing podcast. Today we have our internal marketing director, Kaley Lewis, and we're going to talk about some wonderful opportunities for post ideas. So many people out there, so many advisors and insurance professionals are always trying to find fun ways to engage their social media audience. And one of the things that we do at Top Advisor Marketing for our clients is we use specific holidays, monthly themes, or like fun days like International Donut Day or International Hug a Cop Day in order to engage people's audience. And Kaley and I are going to talk about that. So Kaley, welcome to the show.
Hi, Matt. It's good to be back.
All right. Well, let's talk before we go to days, let's go to months, because this is a wonderful opportunity for our financial advisors to stop and say, okay, there are some educational opportunities here. So why don't you give us a couple of examples?
Well, to start off with, Matt, the month we're in, March, is Women's History Month. There's a lot of great content out there, and there's a lot of great opportunities here, as not just with social media, but there's opportunities to be writing blog posts, or if you host a podcast, bring on a woman from financial services that you know and respect that you'd like to share in their story with. So that's a big one right now. Looking ahead, April is Financial Literacy Awareness Month. So here's another opportunity to share in what you know and encourage people to become more financially literate. We have in May, we've got Disability Awareness Month and Gap Coverage Month. So it's a double whammy. And looking towards the end of the year, there's other opportunities in Life Insurance Awareness Month is September. Critical Illness Awareness is October, and Long-Term Care Awareness is November. So there's a lot of overarching month concepts that we can really use to create social posts, to create content for your website, whether it's blog, podcast, white paper, depending on what your business specifically works in, you can really use these months to ramp up your marketing.
Now, do you recommend that the financial advisor does this autonomously with guests to be able to highlight other people in the community? What has given us at Top Advisor Marketing the biggest bang for our buck?
Well, for us, we've seen it work both ways. For instance, with March, you're the host of our Top Advisor Marketing podcast, so you're not a woman. Therefore, this is the month where you bring on exclusively female guests. We focus on women who are doing powerful and incredible things in the financial community. And it's a great opportunity for us to work to establish those connections and also reach a larger audience. However, if there was a month called Marketing Month, that would be a month where we'd probably be looking exclusively in-house at the skill sets and the passion and energy we have inside. So if you are a financial advisor, but you don't really specialize in long-term care, that would be a great opportunity to bring on someone, a connection you have who is a long-term care planning specialist, or if financial literacy maybe perhaps isn't your strong suit, if that isn't an area that you really excel in, you always have the opportunity to bring on a financial educator that you know in the community, or someone from your local college or university who can talk about financial literacy, or perhaps even just someone who's an advocate for that, especially when looking at like financial literacy in children.
When we bring guests on at Top Advisor Marketing, much like you right now, but we have a lot of outside guests, why don't we talk about the strategy that we use to increase the listenership? Let's just talk about those techniques, because you're really good at this.
So when you bring on an outside guest, one of the things that you have to remember is you're asking a big favor of them. You're asking for an hour of their time, unpaid, and in the financial world, time is money. Well, I think that's pretty true of any world. But what you're looking at here is you're asking someone a big favor, you're asking them to come on, but you're also giving them something in return. You're offering them free access to your community. And if you're a financial advisor and you have a podcast about financial services and you bring on someone who specializes in long-term care planning, well, there's probably a good chance that somewhere in your community of listeners that there are people who are interested in that exact information that you're providing them a direct line to, you're getting in their ear through a reputable source. So one of the things that we really highlight here is we want to let people know we're grateful for them, and we want to let them know that we care about their podcast. So we put a lot of effort into establishing a pre-working connection. We connect via LinkedIn or through a recommendation we receive. We send follow-up emails. We want them to know that we care about them being on that podcast, because if they think, well, this person contacted me, they asked me to come and join them, but I haven't heard from them since, and we're supposed to record tomorrow. You kind of enter that podcast being like, am I really adding value? Do you really care about what I'm bringing to the table? So having that setup process at the beginning is really going to help. And it also makes it a lot easier with the follow through, because when people feel special, they feel recognized, they're far more interested in sharing what you have to offer. So as a long-term care specialist, this is my go-to example today, you're going to say to yourself, well, I was on a podcast and I shared a lot of really incredible information. I am going to share that with my audience as well, because nothing they've said is probably redundant or useless beyond that one audience they spoke to. Like, it has a lot of value and a lot of ripple effect. So by creating a really good relationship from the beginning when you ask someone to join you on your podcast, and then creating that follow through, sharing it, letting people know you're going to put it in your newsletter, letting people know that you're going to link back to it and let your clients know about it. Because if you're bringing on a guest, you're probably not bringing in someone who knows exactly what you know. You're bringing on someone who can add to your expertise and create a better holistic approach to finance for your clients.
We also do a tagging system, which would be on, and one of the reasons why we connect with our guests on social media is because we will tag them in the post so that our post then shows up on their social media page. But I love that you brought up expectations, and I'm going to take over just for a second since I interview a lot of guests. You talked about the process. And one of the things, Kaley, that I get feedback from our guests a lot is they love our process. They love that everything that we do here is very, very structured. And I have a little bit of a speech that I do when I have a guest on. It all starts with the warm-up, right? So I talk to the person about how they're doing and what's going on. One, because I want to hear their voice, and two, I want it to get warmed up. I want to start building that rapport so that when we start recording, it actually sounds like we know each other. Two, I make sure that I release or try to reduce any stress or pressure that they feel. This is not a live recording. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. I can either live edit or we'll take care of it in post-production. All you have to do is say stop. Watch your ums, ohs, so's, you knows. If you've been talking too long, or if you feel like you've been talking too long, you probably have. And then I also say we're going to share this with our network of over 20,000 people. All we ask of you is for you to also share this with your community. Once I get through all of that stuff, people are so much more relaxed that they know that this isn't some willy-nilly thing that's a one-off, that we've done this a whole bunch of times. I know a lot of the examples that we're using today are financial services related, but I want to highlight one of our clients. His name is Mike, and he lives in Wisconsin. And one of the things that he just did was he had a local business person on who is a pit barbecue specialist. And so he's going to come back on the show because I'm sure at some point in our crazy holiday calendar, it's like International Barbecue Day, which I'm sure exists. And we're going to bring this guy back on for International Barbecue Day. And instead of talking about him being a business owner, we're going to talk about ribs. Now, you might be saying, well, how is that going to add value to my audience? It's something fundamentally unique and different that your audience is going to enjoy. One, that you bring on something that's entertaining, because this is supposed to be edutainment. It's not just supposed to be dry and boring. And two, it shows your network. How connected are you within the community? Most of the people, he lives in a small town, have been to this rib joint. And all of a sudden, the owner of the rib joint talking about his secret rub, that's pretty freaking cool. What do you think, Kaley?
Yeah, I really like that. And I like that we're looking at exploring outside of the box. I know with Top Advisor Marketing Podcast, we've had guests from all sorts of areas of business, not just exclusively marketing. We've had professional stylists come on the show. We've talked to people who are experts in technology. Like, we've really broadened our base for who are we looking to talk to on the podcast. And we do try to relate it back specifically to certain dates and events and holidays, because that's what people want to know. I know we've brought on an Olympian during the Olympics, and that was a really neat crossover episode where we got to talk about something relevant and newsworthy, but at the same time, bring in elements of discipline and structure and how to use like an athletic mindset to be successful. That was a really great opportunity for us. So I really enjoy the barbecue element. And I think, like you said, it is a fun opportunity to talk about something else and talk about interest. And ultimately, if you think that there's no way you can relate any of that to what you're doing, then you're probably looking at it from a very narrow mindset.
Now, it also is a great opportunity for you to get in with a center of influence that you're having problems getting into. So let's take, say, the Gap insurance, right? Or something that's maybe more of a P&C related, property and casualty related. And there's a huge P&C firm in your town that you would love to be able to do some cross business with. Inviting the principal on the show, telling them that you want them on the show because they're an expert in insurance. Very few people say no to that, everybody. One, people like to feel special, just like Kaley was just talking about. And two, I'm going to highlight that person and her firm to make it so that they look even better within the community. That's super awesome. Now, you created a list, Kaley, of some of the days or months, so that our listeners can take some notes and write down not just the month ideas, but then you and I are going to take the end of the podcast today and talk about some exact wording for posts that we know works because either we've done it for ourselves or we've done it for our clients. So you mind going over those months?
Okay, so to start our year off with January, we've got taxes month. It's kind of the big thing on everyone's mind, as whether you're a business owner, whether you're an individual, taxes are the topic in January. We're getting all the paperwork ready and lined up. So if you can bring on a tax expert, you can bring on a CPA that you happen to know or have a close relationship with, this is a great opportunity there. February is Ensure Your Love Month. We've got Women's Month or Women's History Month in March. There's Universal Women's Week, International Women's Day, and Women's Month all rolled into one there. Next, we've got Financial Literacy Month in April. May is Disability Awareness Month, and it's Gap Coverage Month. An interesting one that's a little bit outside of the world of finance is June is Pride Month, and it is also Annuity Awareness Month. So depending on what your listenership is interested in, there's a lot of interesting opportunities there. For July and August, you're going to be looking at a little bit of a downturn in social media. So here is a great opportunity to highlight some family-oriented topics. People are off for the summer with their kids, or grandkids. They're spending a lot of time outside. So I really just encourage our listeners, and we encourage our clients and our social media specialists here at Top Advisor to focus the summer months on being family-oriented, because that's what everyone's thinking about. It's barbecue season, it's picnic season, baseball, soccer, everything's outside. Everyone's having fun times together. September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. And then we've got October is Critical Illness. November is Long-Term Care Awareness. And finally, December is when a lot of people start looking at business planning. So if you are a financial advisor who works specifically with small businesses, this is a great opportunity to bring someone on that you know is a great business coach or has some expertise in business planning, because your listeners are going to be hopefully know that it's business planning time of year. But if they don't, this is going to be a great opportunity to get educational with them.
I'm going to make an offer out to our audience, because we have a very dedicated listenership, that in those different categories, if you don't know somebody in financial services that you can interview for your podcast, please reach out to me through LinkedIn. Okay, just private message me, because we have been doing this for so long now. We've done, I don't know, Kaley, how many episodes have we done?
Well, I think you and I today are recording episode 146.
Okay.
So,
and I've got 3 more today. We've still got a whole bunch in the can. So yeah, so we've done, 150-ish episodes. we've talked to financial services professionals in all areas and all genres, including some amazing insurance specialists and even estate planning attorneys. So if you need somebody, if you like, for instance, February is Black History Month. If you don't know somebody who is a successful African American business person, financial advisor, or maybe talking about the different sorts of financial services needs, we have people that you can talk to. This month, which is March, is Women's History Month. We have some unbelievably successful women who we would be more than happy to try to connect you with and have them on your show. And especially when you might feel like you're stretching a bit, like for Pride Month, if you don't know somebody who's in the LGBTQ community that you really would like to highlight that within your community, we also have somebody who can help there. But let's talk about the posts. All right. I'm going to take one of the more mundane ones. Why don't you grab one of those months and give an example of something that our listeners could use as an actual post that we already know compliance is going to be fine with?
So I'm going to just jump ahead a month here and go to Financial Literacy Month because I feel very personally impassioned about financial literacy. And I think that this is a great month for you to bring on guests and share a lot of information in posts. So for an example here, you have an opportunity to share some sort of tool or app that offers, an opportunity for teaching children about money. And there are definitely programs and services out there that are specifically orientated towards financial literacy in kids. So here's a great opportunity for you to share a post, for you to talk about the value of the app or the video or whatever sort of content that you're sharing and say, look, like this is something we believe in, we approve of, we think it's a great opportunity for you to be using this. And if you aren't, why not? And link out to that. And the thing is, you have an opportunity there to tag that service depending on where you're sharing this, LinkedIn or Twitter, or even Facebook. They might have a business page where you can say, hey, these people are pretty awesome. Go follow them and get a little bit of reciprocity going in the process.
I just did that. I love Facebook for that reason, because if you let's say I'm going to use two examples here with what you're just saying. One is Mint. So very, very, very many financial advisors tell their clients to use the app Mint because it really tracks their expenses, because, the initial part of a financial plan is for you to create a budget. And if you follow Mint on social media, which would be LinkedIn and specifically Facebook, you can post on their page that you're a financial advisor talking about the power of Mint as an application. That's going to show up on their page. And I'm guaranteeing you that Mint probably has 50 to 70, maybe even 100,000 followers. But I'm also going to give another example, because I'm going to do sometimes a little bit more of the out of the box stuff here, Kaley. So April happens to be the Financial Literacy Month, and there are some great organizations that help kids, you triggered this with the kids thing, learn more about money. And one of them happens to be the Girl Scouts, right? So when the girls go out and sell cookies, they're not just selling cookies, they're learning entrepreneurial skills. They're learning budgeting skills. They understand how much of each box goes into the troops pocket and how much goes to Girl Scouts USA pocket. And they teach financial literacy through the program. How much fun would it be for you as a financial services professional to bring on the troop leader and maybe a couple of the bigger selling Girl Scouts, right? Whoever was the highest cookie sale in your area, and use that as a financial literacy opportunity. The Girl Scouts are going to be sharing that everywhere. That the troop leader is going to share that everywhere. And that people are going to want to listen to that because you have the number one cookie seller on your freaking podcast. All right, give us another month.
So another month we'll look at is Life Insurance Awareness Month in September. So life insurance isn't sexy, to put it plainly. You pay into it and you don't really see any of it till you're dead. But however, it is important. It is some fundamental component of your financial plan to have life insurance. So one of the roadblocks we do come up against is, how do we talk about life insurance? Because it is pretty morbid, but there is opportunities here. I know, Matt, for instance, I know that on your phone you have the iPhone and you have it set that if you're driving, it pings you back a message that says, my kids like me more than they like life insurance. So you have a little bit of tongue in cheek there, but that's a great way to talk about life insurance, is to kind of lighten the mood and really put the emphasis on yes, it's a burden. It's a little bit of a financial burden because you got to pay for it now, but think of the long-standing impacts you're going to have. And like, is it something as anyone has hope of, cashing in on tomorrow? Of course not. But there is a lot of benefit going on there. So we see a lot of posts around Life Insurance Awareness Month that talk about, maybe a sad story about someone who didn't have life insurance. And I would like to counter that with, why don't you talk about a positive situation, that peace of mind that comes with having life insurance, bringing home your first newborn child or seeing your first grandchild for the first time. Don't you want to leave them some peace of mind versus the, what we didn't have conversation.
The other thing that we can do with life insurance is we can do a mini series. What we have, in fact, we're running one really soon with Adri Miller-Heckman, right? We're starting to do mini series more and more with Top Advisor Marketing. And we highly recommend that if you either have a blog or even if you just have a social media presence, you can still do a mini series. And with Life Insurance Awareness Month, you can do that. You can talk about, hey, here's your post. Stay tuned. We're doing a 3-part mini series talking about life insurance and the benefits that it has while you're alive. That's going to get clicks, right? People are going to be, okay, I've never really thought about life insurance that way. And maybe you bring on somebody who specializes in like the Gerber policy for newborns with guaranteed insurability and cash value. And, how can you, and then you bring somebody on who talks about cash value life insurance and how you can use it or how you can buy it for your children so it can help pay for their college, right? There's all sorts of different ways to position this. And when we jokingly say thinking outside of the box, that's really important because especially in Life Insurance Awareness Month, there's this great website called Life Happens, and Life Happens floods the internet with all sorts of stuff. You have to rise above. Now, let's talk about a couple of days, because sometimes days are the best thing that you can highlight to get engagement. Are there any days that you like more than anything?
Well, I'm a little bit of a sucker for this one, Matt, but I love International Pet Day. I think it is a great opportunity to share some really cute photos of your 4-legged friend or 2-legged if you're into birds. But I really like that it creates an opportunity where you can share something personal as an advisor. Say you've recently gotten a pet, or you had a pet as a child that really impacted you. Or what we do here is we share all of our pets from Top Advisor Marketing. And every year we seem to be adding on new additions to the pet family. And we just share a big collage of their cute photos. And it was actually one of our highest engaging posts of last year because people love pets. So as we all know, everyone's on the internet for cats these days or dogs. There's no prejudice here. So I think this is a great opportunity, and it's a fun way to post and get some engagement and share something personal about yourself and a little bit more of an insight into who your team is, because you really know people based on if they're cat or dog.
That's a very, very good point. I absolutely love it. I ask for dog pictures for my friends every once in a while just because it brightens up my day. And I've got some people who have some hysterical pictures of their dogs and or cats. I like the 2-legged friend. I guess I didn't really think too much about birds, but I guess people do have birds, huh?
Yes, there are bird people out there as much as there are people who like lizards or legless animals.
Legless animals. Yes, we do not discriminate on this podcast towards any animal. I'm going to, let's say, Pi Day's coming up, right? 3.14. And
yes, it is.
This is a very simple post that also gets really good engagement, which is, we took a poll in our office and voted that pecan pie happens to be our favorite pie. Do you love pecan pie, or what's your favorite pie? People love that stuff. The other thing that you can do from a meme perspective or an infographic or image is take pictures of different pies. Maybe you do 4. And instead of just saying, like or comment, you can have them do, the smiley face, the angry face, the thumbs up or whatever, and do your own little poll. Compliance doesn't mind any of this because it's free audience engagement and you're freaking talking about pie, right? We're not talking about what's your favorite freaking ETF or mutual fund or life insurance product. We're talking about some sort of delicious, delicious food. Now, those are good examples that you can use. Also, if you're struggling with coming up with social media posts, the internet is an amazing thing because you can literally type into your Google search or Alta Vista or, is Alta Vista even still around anymore?
To be quite honest, I don't even know, Matt.
Yeah, maybe Ask Jeeves. I know I was actually trying to think of one that was totally not around anymore. Netscape. Ask Jeeves. Right. So go to askjeeves.com and type in social media posts for International Donut Day. And guess what? The internet's going to give you flipping social media posts and probably ones that have performed very, very, very well. So don't overthink this, everybody. Social media doesn't have to be something that you're afraid of. Social media doesn't have to be something that takes up an enormous amount of your time.
Matt, I'm just going to turn the tables a little bit here because you're talking about how social media doesn't have to take up that much of your time. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be afraid of social media. But why don't we talk about how we help with that and also give some insight into the new services we're offering with the Influencer Lite?
That sounds great. We've gotten a lot of feedback. Something that we believe is very important is to keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on in financial services. We look at things like pleasing the algorithm, which we just had. Julia was on the podcast again recently talking about the changes that have happened. But there's changes that have happened within financial advisors' willingness to be involved in social media. And the pushback that we got was, well, I don't think I can do 2 podcasts a month and 100 social media posts. That just seems excessive. And so we sat back and we said, okay, how can we help more people by giving them something that they want? So we created something called Influencer Lite. For the last 2 years, we've had the full influencer package, which is the 2 podcasts a month, where we do all of the professional intros and outros and syndication, post-production. We build your podcast page. We do all of the syndication, which would mean that we put it out to everywhere with promotion. And then we do about 100 social media posts across LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook that are all customized for you. Nobody gets the same post. Now, we now have the Social Media Influencer Lite, which is Influencer Lite program, which is only 1 podcast a month. So it's very, very easy for you to come up with content. We just gave you 12 months of content. And it gives you about 40 posts per month. And so we're super excited about the Influencer Lite program because it's something that means that we can help more people. We can help you get your voice out into the marketplace. And in fact, we are specifically looking for 50 women who are in financial services who want to get their voice out into the marketplace. Now, that doesn't mean that we're still not going to service men, male financial advisors, insurance professionals, real estate professionals, estate planning attorneys, or CPAs, because we're expanding our reach because it works very, very well. In fact, we just brought on a plaintiff's attorney recently who wants to do, she's one of our first Influencer Lite people because what she does is so unique and different, and she has the opportunity to interview a bunch of other attorneys, and she knows how powerful it would be. So if you know a successful woman who wants to get their voice out in the marketplace, to start creating more parity in the marketplace, right now it's like 98% men. We need to start getting that to be 51% women and having their voices out in the marketplace. That's a big focus for us at Top Advisor Marketing. The price point is very, very palatable. It's about $1,000 a month for you to do that Social Media Influencer Lite program. We've got an amazing team. Kaley has consulted on it because she's our internal marketing director. So she knows what's working for us, and therefore we also know what's working for you. And just to kind of put a bow on that, so over the last 2 years, our social media team has done about 10,000 social media posts. And those social media posts went through compliance. So when you think about, the concerns that you've had with social media, we solve that. And here's the best part. It was only going to take an hour of your time per month. So for an hour of your time at $1,000, we will fill your social media with great content that's your content, your great thought leadership, and we also help you come up with the topics. Did that sound too salesy, Kaley?
Can't take the sales out of a salesman, Matt.
Yeah, I guess you're right on that one, huh? I think it's really cool. I'm super excited about being able to offer it. I don't think we don't really talk too much about what we do on these podcasts, so maybe it was time.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And I think the Influencer Lite is just an opportunity that we aren't really seeing at much of in the financial marketing service. So it is something fundamentally unique and different for financial advisors, in addition to just being an opportunity for us to explore working with different advisors who have different marketing budgets. Realistically, we have an opportunity here to be working with more of a millennial audience who are, say, understand the value of social media and want to be on it, but as a financial advisor, they don't have the time or they don't have the in-house staff to maintain it. So there is a lot of perks to this opportunity, and I do think we need to be talking about it as we are now offering it.
Awesome. All right, closing thoughts, Kaley Lewis, on creating a social media calendar that has to do with some preordained months or days. Anything you want to close with?
My closing remark is just do it. It's easy. It's simple. It's going to take a lot of the pressure off of you for creating a content calendar if you're constantly worried, well, what am I going to say 5 days a week, 52 weeks of the year? By incorporating these days, you're going to eliminate a lot of that stress on yourself. There's a lot of material, you know exactly what you're looking for to curate, and it just provides a more of a joyful experience of being a social media follower, to see people encouraging you to eat donuts or look at pretty pictures of animals, or in some cases talking about life insurance or like disability insurance. Those are all things that we need to be talking about. And so if you can make use of this calendar and this information, which is also going to be linked in the show notes as we're having a blog go out in time for this podcast release that discusses what you can be saying and when, and just make the time now. It's a little bit of time to figure out what happens through the rest of the year, but it doesn't change. That content calendar can rejuvenate itself in 2020 and 2021 and so on and so forth.
Wonderful. Well, Kaley, thank you so much for all you do here at Top Advisor Marketing, and also for giving us all this good information today.
Yes, thank you for having me, Matt. It was a pleasure.
If you have not subscribed to the podcast by now, I don't know what you're waiting for, but maybe you're new, so click that subscribe now button below. And also, if you know somebody who really does want to dip their toe into social media and getting their thought leadership out, make sure you click the share button. But most importantly, if you wouldn't mind, just take a moment to give us a review. That really helps us when it comes to SEO and SEM on Google and also through iTunes. Of course, we'd love a 5-star rating, but if you don't think we're doing 5-star work, why don't you give us a holler and give us some ideas on what we can do better? We would love to be able to provide you exactly what you're looking for. So for Kaley Lewis and everybody at Top Advisor Marketing, this is Matt Halloran, and we'll see you on the other side of the mic very soon.
Are you ready to change the way you communicate with your clients? Are you tired of being the best kept secret in your area? Learn how to become a prolific online influencer, attract more ideal clients, and grow your business. Contact us today and see what the power of podcasting can do for your business. Click on the Contact Us link on our website at topadvisormarketing.com and set up a call to learn more. Follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook for more updates and information.
This was brought to you by Iris.xyz, a platform helping financial professionals become better in business and life through new media and new voices. Visit them and learn more at iris.xyz.